welcome to the. Let's make it a chilled out special, shall we?
Yeah,
I think
we can do that.
I'm sorry for springing that executive decision on
Yeah, that's bold.
because that puts a lot of pressure on you.
I was ready to put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, this is going to be a chilled out special.
We'll shoot the shit
because I'm pretty tired. This is the problem, it's unprofessional and I don't like it when I listen to podcast hosts when they say that they're tired. It's like, come on, man, put yourself together. But we did just film 2 sketches and sort of used every creative juice we had.
Yeah, there's nothing really
There's
left.
nothing.
So chilled out is just a different word for bad and uncreative.
Yeah, so a creatively spent chilled out special, but I feel that the kind of pay pigs who listen to us, I feel that they will feel more relatable to us.
We'll be more relatable to them.
We'll be more relatable to them
because they're chilled out guys.
Yes, yeah. How did
the pay pigs are chilled out?
Yeah. How did you celebrate International Women's Day?
It's an interesting question. It went surprisingly unmarked in my life. Yeah. Well, it was sprung on me as International Women's Day always is.
It's International Women's Day.
I've got no plans. I've got nothing prepared. So I just had to wing it, really, much like this podcast. So I kind of did a chilled out International.
Do you get
Women's
into
Day.
the festive season?
Interestingly, I didn't see one single woman all day. I didn't see a single woman.
Out of respect.
Out of respect, because it's their time.
Yeah.
And you don't want it all manned up.
Yeah, you don't want to be clogging up
with cock.
No.
No, you don't. No, not like that. No, wasn't saying it like that. Not like that.
I was not implying that you need to stop clogging women up with your cock.
No, nor was I meaning it like that. It was clogging up their day with cock.
Yeah, I guess so.
You don't want big swinging dicks walking around. So out of respect, I closed the doors, shut the blinds and windows, and just quietly got on with my business.
It was really funny. A friend of mine, I don't know what I keep thinking about it and I keep talking about it, but a friend of mine very sincerely on International Women's Day said, so have you donated to any women's charities? But said it as if it was like, have you filled out your tax return?
Yeah,
as if it was like such an obvious... That's just like so funny. I don't know.
They were doing it sincerely as well.
Just really, it's like, so have you've donated to the women's charity, as if that's like a...
How did that come about?
I don't know. Well,
was this a message?
No.
Okay.
But it just really made me laugh. I don't know why it made me laugh so much. But
did you laugh? I think
it's probably because when you hang around with comedians, you normally don't have that level of sincerity around those sort of things.
Yeah.
So it was like a nice jolt back
into some sort of weird reality.
Yeah. But I like the idea of just assuming someone's gonna. Because as soon as you start sending money to women's charities on International Women's Day, then you got, you have to be sending to Ukraine.
There's a lot of international.
Do you know
days.
what I mean?
There's a lot of international days.
Yeah, and like Black History Month, you got to be. I just feel like you should be like, right, I'm gonna sort of vibe out what I'm feeling charity wise.
Yeah.
But you can't have it as like you have.
Well,
you have to pay certain charities.
You've kind of got to do all of them or none of them.
Yeah.
To be honest, because once you start and pick a favourites, you're starting prioritising minorities, and
which is let's rank races, shall we? That ends well.
Which is what your response should be. Oh, you want me to start ranking races next, do you?
Here we go. Mexicans, number one.
Stop. But no, it's once you know your colours to the mast and show that you're some sort of charitable and or cause-based individual. The causes that you choose to support. It's like doing an Instagram story. And I've seen, and you either don't post about stuff. The problem is I've seen people be silent on the Ukrainian thing, but post immediately when Shane Warne died. And there's a balance that you've got to do.
Yeah.
And it's...
what is the Shane Warne Ukraine balance?
That's the thing that I think however many episodes of this podcast we've been doing is what we're trying to work out. And we're not there yet.
We're not there.
And it's fair because my immediate reaction was, I didn't hear anything about Ukraine from you. But then
Shane Warne?
No, not Shane Warne, the person who posted the Shane Warne.
I didn't hear anything about Shane
And then
Warne.
It's like, but he is a cricket fan, and it's like it's almost like a personal thing. So I kind of withdrew on it.
But I'm sort of a fan of
people
children not dying. So
it does make you think.
That's one of my hobbies.
Well, yeah, pondering children not
dying.
And just being,
I think that are alive. That's
children are alive, and that's not because of you.
No, it's not because of me.
But you just like the idea of it.
It's like that's
well, I guess you're in
one of my interests.
You're mostly in luck then.
Yeah.
You've had a pretty successful hobby thus far. You'll be
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
It'll be bad luck to encounter
true.
the worst possible outcome.
It is sad. Shane Warne, as much as he was, but for people who don't know, he was also a cricketer, as well as being a
Hair loss.
That's how I know him, as the face of
the best,
the kind of the brave face of.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this many a time.
Many a time.
Yeah. We are big believers in reducing the stigma around hair supplements, around, as we said, if you're the balding one of the lads and you go to Turkey, you get a hair transplant. If
You're not hearing from us.
If you walk into the pub, you know, maybe you've got
little tufts.
you've got like you used to be bald and now you've got a full afro. You won't hear a peep of us.
Yeah. If you slip up on a word, you're going to have a horrible rest of your night.
Yeah. We're going to be roasting you. But if you were fully hairless and bald,
not even going to
pop down to Turkey, you come
it.
back with dreadlocks.
Cool. How are you doing, Pete?
How are you doing?
Nice to see you. What drink can I get you? Nothing's changed about you whatsoever. Don't even acknowledge it. Just allow it to happen.
Shane Warne was the kind of the brave pioneer. He was the brave pioneer of it. He's made a lot of money through cricket. I don't think he needed to. So it was clearly a cause close to his heart.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It is the best advert that you'll ever see of him and I think it's Mark Butcher. Just doing it, and it's just delivered like it's obscene. It's just
like a Shane Warne ball,
wonky. Is this our tribute to him?
Yeah.
No,
this is a Shane Warne special.
Yeah, no.
He was really good at bowling.
He's bloody good at bowling.
Would be my obituary.
No, he was. It was sad when he died.
It was sad. It was a bit of a shock.
Yep.
Did he? So he died of a heart attack in Thailand.
I don't know if it was in Thailand, but yeah, I guess so.
Why do I think it was in Thailand?
Could be.
Yeah, I mean it could be.
Could be anywhere. Really.
But if it's a heart attack in Thailand, I feel it's coke and hookers, man.
Is that offensive?
No. What?
To like.
What? Shane Warne?
He's been dead a week.
Yeah, well,
speculating whether he was actually died from a drug overdose and using prostitutes. I think that might be offensive.
What if it's true? Does it stop being offensive as soon as it becomes true?
I think if
it's
true,
retroactively true, then it's no longer offensive.
I think speculating on a death in like giving it.
But what
one
if
of the
I'm
worst,
right? Does it make it unoffensive in retrospect?
Absolutely.
Obviously, right now it's an offensive thing to do.
Correct. Yeah.
But if it comes out that I'm right,
then
I need a full apology from you.
That
is slandering me on live podcast.
I suppose if your definition of slandering someone is them saying, "Is that offensive?"
that was fine. Yeah, because you knew what you were doing.
Because naturally
you're trying to turn these cunts against me.
I'm more shielding myself from the fact that
from the Shane Warne
controversy that we're getting into. Well, who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? It could have been a hair loss thing gone wrong. He could have
had a botched. That's the first thing.
Again, we're still doing the thing I said we probably shouldn't do.
Well, sadly, I've now spread it too thin because I've said two separate ones. So no matter if I'm right with one of them, I'm offensive.
You've been offensive in both.
I should have just stuck with one and just nailed my colours to the mast.
And now you're definitely going to be wrong with one of them, unless some really mad thing happened.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, International Women's Day.
What did you do for it?
I think, I was with my girlfriend and I let her finish all her anecdotes.
Every single... No.
Not all of them.
Come on, don't be silly.
All of them. I didn't belittle her in public. I didn't undermine her confidence.
You didn't. No, I don't. Right. The anecdote was a joke. I don't believe you didn't undermine her confidence.
I undermined.
Of course, you undermined her confidence. You can't go a day without doing it. You're never in the same room.
But I tried. I tried not to undermine her confidence, and I think that's enough because it's about giving it.
There are some things that are impossible, really, aren't they? And like, it's more at least allowing them to see that you've tried to achieve the impossible.
Yeah,
is maybe the important thing, which is maybe what International Women's Day is all about.
Yeah,
trying to not belittle women's confidence. Well done, guys. You've given it one, and then just the relief when it turns midnight and just a barrage of insults.
Richard Herring does quite a funny thing on Twitter where every time he finds everyone who tweets when's International Men's Day and then comments the date of International Men's Day because there is a date.
There is a day,
but still, because obviously men don't care about International Men's Day. Every time. There's thousands
are people still
and
doing
it's still
that?
like November 17th or whatever it is. November 17th. When's International November 17th. But what about when's November 17th?
No, it's good to put that.
That's good stuff. I was also...
It's very close to Pancake Day, International Women's Day.
Well, there's a lot of as we talked
Conspiracies.
about. No.
What does it mean? What does it mean? Is it a coincidence?
Yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Do you not?
That close. That close to Pancake
That
Day.
is a horrible way. If you really didn't believe in any coincidences.
Oh my god, horrendous way to live. Why is it that close? No, you wouldn't be able to go on actually.
You couldn't, what if literally nothing was a coincidence?
No, everything. No, nothing was a coincidence. Yeah.
So it'd be like
everything
everything
means something, or everything's a conspiracy.
So if for example you walk in, look, we're both wearing white socks,
Yeah.
and if you don't believe there's
That's
that's technically a
I
coincidence.
guess
isn't
that
it?
would be that. Yeah, it is.
So that's technically has to be considered a coincidence.
Yes.
It's not a coincidence that we're both wearing trousers, is it?
Yeah.
No, that's not. That can't be a coincidence.
Well, white socks in our fashion world is not a coincidence.
What does matter? A coincidence needs to be you're both doing something.
Yeah, but I think you can have more major and minor coincidences.
Or can
I
you
think
really?
in a sense, it's a coincidence we're both wearing trousers. But
Is it a
because
coincidence
why
we're
am I wearing
both?
shorts?
It's a coincidence that we're both alive at the same time.
Yeah, but that's
human
like
history.
one of the biggest coincidences ever. I don't know why. Yeah, of course.
That's a huge coincidence.
That's a huge one. I don't know why we're trying to find small ones. What do you mean? We're trying to find a little coincidence. Yeah, it's a coincidence that we were born on this planet in this country at exactly the same time. Would that be a coincidence?
Yeah,
Maybe?
no, I guess that is.
Of course
I
it
guess.
bloody is.
But if you don't believe in any
I think, no,
coincidences,
if you don't believe in any coincidences and you take every... and if we take coincidence in its most minor definition, such as wearing the same colour socks, let's just do that.
it would be like.
So I think even us wearing trousers is a coincidence.
I guess it's
Because we had the option not to. But then, in a sense, there's such a clear rational reason why we're wearing trousers and why we're wearing white socks.
Yeah, but if you don't believe in that would imply coincidence.
Precisely. So what it would imply, if I walked up here and we're wearing both trousers and socks,
Is that it's
I'd be
conspiracy?
like, you watch me get trousers?
Yeah, that's it.
Have you got cameras in my room? Are you trying to freak me out or something? Because you would imply that there was an intent behind you wearing the socks and trousers.
What an awful man that would be.
I don't think you can make it part. I honestly, and I say this sincerely, think you'd kill yourself in a week.
Okay, all right.
Because
Do
of
you
the
think we've
paranoia,
finally-
going
yeah.
through your head.
Do you think we finally found the thing we can do that would you rather of would you rather think everything's a coincidence, think literally nothing's a coincidence, or shout every word that you read?
Every word you read. Definitely. Still,
Do
because
you
if you think about the coincidence, you'll be paranoid about everything that's ever happened, and that will ever continue to happen.
So do you think you'd rather shout every word?
Imagine what, like, let's just say someone thought.
For people who don't know this,
yeah.
We basically found the perfect one half of a dilemma.
Still trying to find the other.
But we're trying to find the other. So if you could suggest, actually, because this is when creatively you guys can actually be of some use, is find the other half to the dilemma, because the perfect one half is shouting every word that you read, which is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
So if you're reading a book, it would be like, and then the two cities, there was a tale between them both.
Or, warning, do not step on the grass.
Every single
you're
Boys
just
Gone
walking.
Wild V&A.
I've read your top several times. Eddie Murphy, the Nutty Professor. It would be a nightmare, mostly in public situations, but also trying to find love.
Yeah, but also a coincidence, not believing in any coincidences.
Let's just take let's say they do believe in other coincidences. It's just if you wholeheartedly just the sock one, okay? You just believe that there are no coincidences of like clothing, and you believe that there was a conspiracy every time you wore the same coloured socks as someone. That is enough for me to take the shouting. Just if it was socks. Every time someone wears the same pair of socks as you, you think they've conspired against you to wear the same colour socks in some sort of weird power move.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
I would kill myself in a week. You would trust no one.
You wouldn't trust anyone.
In the shouting
you wouldn't
one,
get
in
to
the
know
shouting
anyone.
one, people don't want to be around you. In the sock one, you don't want to be around other people. And I think I prefer to put the burden on other people. I think it's a noble thing
You'd
to
rather
do.
be shouting around, chasing after people shouting at them.
There are ways to
than
combat the
hiding.
shouting one. You could just
live in a house with no words is for one.
you can wear like blind glasses. It'll be a nightmare. If you had like really blurry glasses so you can just about see around. So you can just about make your way to places. You'd avoid shouting. Like because my way is on the tube. On the tube is where you're reading everything. You know when you're like bored and you read the adverts, you read just the lines, and you count how many stops there are. Bethnal Green, Stepney Green.
Audible.
Liverpool Street.
Make your journey more listenable with Audible.
Do you have trouble with athlete's foot? It's a fucking nightmare. It's honestly a nightmare.
But
whereas if you had these blurry glasses where you can just see enough to get around, but you can't actually read anything. Because thinking about it, even like Adam has got terrible eyesight and can't.
Does he?
He can't bloody see, mate. He can't.
Why does he not get glasses?
Because he can't be bothered.
Really?
Yeah. And he said as long as he's not getting headaches, he'll get by. He once missed.
That's a horrendous.
He once
approach.
we were coming back from a dinner party separately. He was by
dinner
himself.
Party.
Yeah, we went for dinner.
A dinner party.
We had knocking.
That's very fancy.
It is very fancy.
Yeah.
And we went back to different places.
Very
and he had to
metropolitan.
get back by himself and he can't read. And he was standing. It was quite late. And what a 25-minute journey took him an hour and 20 minutes because he was standing at the bus stop and he couldn't read the number of the buses. So he didn't know which bus. He knew which number he had to get, but he couldn't see what was coming towards him.
Wait, was it?
So he kept, this is the most Adam story you hear, he kept flagging down buses, getting that, and then just when he could read the number, he's like, oh no, sorry, that's not me. Kept doing that, did that for 3 buses, and then on the 4th one did it still wasn't his, but he felt too embarrassed, so he just got on, and then went the completely wrong way, and then had to then walk like an hour. It was ridiculous.
But that's more about how he's shit with transport though, and maps and any of those sort of things.
That's
low-tier.
not about that.
Do you not think?
That's about him not being able to see because you can't. He knows like if he needs to get on this bus to get on the right number. It's just he couldn't see the numbers and then felt too socially. The problem with that is once you've already held down 3 buses for the 4th one where he just felt too socially awkward and just got on. That bus driver doesn't know you've held down 3 buses. You've just got to keep going.
It's the same thing.
Once you've held
it's
down
more
one,
just reliving a bad memory.
But I think he was just fucking.
You're not adding onto it.
Yeah.
Unless it was the same dude every time. That would be bad.
Well, that
if
would
the guy
also
was
be
going
the trippiest world.
If the guy's going around in a circle.
Yeah, I'd have more questions about what the bus driver was doing.
Oh, you fucking. Why are you still driving this bus?
But then he'd be like, "Why are you still flagging me down?" And
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
It's a real just standoff because you're both freaks, aren't you?
Yeah.
But if you're like that and you can't read things far away,
yeah,
and you can get glasses to imitate that, I think you could go about life in an okay way.
Yeah. So I guess just having really bad eyesight, and just okay, I guess so. But then not never believing in a coincidence. So, for example, if you arrive on the platform and the train arrives as you arrive, that would be considered a coincidence.
You will live in a permanent state of paranoia because if you don't believe in coincidences, you believe in a certain divine intent.
Is that destiny?
It depends how you interpret the lack of coincidence.
Yeah.
Because if it's a kind of religious thing, then you can see things positively.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same socks as my friend because we're connected. I got to the train pulled up right as I arrived to the platform because it's important that I get to what I'm doing on time. Or there's a grand lizard conspiracy trying to kill me. So it depends how you're interpreting the coincidence.
Well, it has to be negative.
Has to be negative.
Or else it does completely.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'd go for the shouting things when I can see them. Without a shadow of a doubt. Do you agree or do you not agree?
Yeah, I think you genuinely have to go for the shouting one because at least you actually, though probably growing. Oh, you see, we're implying that you've grown up with these.
Grown up with what?
These conditions, or are they?
I think one of them just has a name and it's called paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah, but I'm saying, have you had this since birth?
I don't think you make it past birth. I think you die in childbirth if you had the coincidence thing. Well, if you've had because what happens if you do have it from birth, the shouting one? What happens before you can read?
No. You have to learn to read.
Gah!
No, it's as soon as... No, it's only when you learn to read.
So imagine being the teacher that teaches that kid to read.
Stop. No!
Duh, dog. No, I'm right here. You don't need to shout it. Yeah.
Dog!
The dog went down the hill. Did I do it right? And then it's slowly developed. Imagine being that kid's,
the dog went down the hill.
Imagine being that kid's classmates as he slowly learns more words and it slowly becomes more of a problem in their life. It'll be hell. It'll be hell to watch.
Because he keeps learning more and more.
But if I was the parent, I'd whack a pair of those blurry glasses on him. And he'd be sorted. You've been done for life.
I'm imagining them being like really quite small spectacles that make your eyes look
Yeah.
ginormous. Yeah. Your eyes look.
Make him look like a freak. Make him look like a freak.
Because they'd probably have to be because they're blurry.
Yeah.
So it'd be like it magnify your eyes.
The massive, yeah. No, I think it will work. Because even if I put a pair of your glasses on and walk around all day, I'd have terrible headaches.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to read anything. and thus wouldn't be able to shout anything.
Yeah, I think you actually keep more of your brain intact if you shout every word that you read than if you think there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Well, yeah, because as soon as you block yourself out from reading things, you're automatically stopping stimuli coming in.
Yeah,
You're going to get dumb.
I guess that's not the perfect dilemma because we kind of need a dilemma where we can both put strong arguments for either. But
Yeah,
I
and
think it's
unfortunately-
pretty hard to make an argument against
The coincidences thing is a bit too abstract as well. It requires too much interpretation. Like, the speaking thing is very clear. We need something as obvious as that. Because even, like, if you try and make it an easy flip of, like, everything you hear, you shout, but I'd definitely rather read.
Yeah.
Can't really do it.
Everything you hear, you shout.
Everything you smell. Everything you smell, you shout. Because you don't really smell.
No,
much,
because it just
do
wouldn't
you?
be. Yeah.
Smell's the one you.
Yeah, because you could just
with
not smell.
You do. Yeah.
Smell's actually the most optional sense.
Yeah.
Or
Nose
taste,
plugs.
probably.
No, because you're going to have to eat something or you're going to die. Isn't it? Fuck's sake, come on.
Yeah, but you could
Inject.
Yeah.
And you think that's easier than putting nose plugs in. Come on. Let's grow up.
I don't smell much.
No,
I don't use my smell as a sense. I don't map.
You don't have to purposefully use it. You don't have to go around and pop.
No, but my mum maps space via smell.
She maps. We're going to have to get into that.
No, my mum is the most uses smell as well. I think it's partly comes
She's
from her
smell
being
cartographer, is she?
But I've just never seen someone. She always is like, and she's just very sensitive to it, and just will always be like reacting like a dog or an animal would.
Yeah.
And I just feel like in my head she's sort of like mapping space through smell. She can tell distance and terrain.
This is something funny actually. Is it the conditioner in our shower?
The pink one.
The pink nozzle with the what is this, like Aussie something volume thing?
Okay, no.
I was in the shower and I'd run out of conditioner myself, so I used a bit of that, put it in my hair.
Yeah.
And then found myself suddenly being turned on. and I was just watching it, I was like, what the fuck is happening? As in genuine just flood of really aggressive sexual feelings coming on.
Because of what?
And then I kind of smelt it and I was like, oh my God, I used to have sex with someone with that conditioner.
Really?
My ex-girlfriend used to use that conditioner. I realised, I forgot, I thought, what is that? In the shower. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I knew it was the smell and I was like, who did that? And then when I got in and then saw it in the shower the next time I got in, I remember seeing it in her shower.
So...
The smell, that's one of... Cause
it triggered an emotional memory.
Of your mum mapping out things in smell, I think I mapped previous sexual experiences in smell.
Because, as far as senses go, the nose is kind of it doesn't get much of a shout out. It's definitely a bit part player when it comes to the senses. Because if you think about fucking sight, that's
well,
that's a goat, isn't it?
Yeah, the sight is goat. It's, unfortunately,
it's the Michael Jordan of
senses. Undisputed, but in a way, it monopolises the other senses.
It does. I mean, sight.
Because everyone there's the
sight and sound.
Sight and sound, sure. And there's the classic: would you rather would you rather not see or hear for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And most people's instant reaction is see.
Yeah.
They'd rather see and not hear. But when you get into it, there's some really important stuff in hearing.
Music, innit?
Music, talking to your friends.
But then, close your eyes.
Making all your friends.
Imagine that forever.
It's not great. Don't get me wrong, this isn't excellent. But I think and I'm not saying it's an easy choice, but I think it's harder than people think it is.
It's true.
You think about not hearing your friends'
I'd
voice,
lose hearing.
You can't socialise with your friends anymore.
They're going to hold up little
cards.
whiteboards.
No, you
could
can't.
learn to lip read. Lip read, sign language.
But speaking back, you'll eventually lose your voice.
What?
Yeah, when you go deaf, you lose your voice eventually. You know the deaf voice?
Yeah.
That happens when you go deaf.
Yeah. No, but you
Yeah.
just sound. You just.
No, you stop speaking.
You can still speak.
People,
No.
they don't. People don't because you can't speak proper. You
It's
don't.
not verified. You know, where did you know this?
This is at well, my stepdad is born into a deaf
He
family,
was!
so I am quite familiar with this. Yeah,
They're both
both of them.
wild.
Fucking crazy, and I didn't know.
No
that.
idea.
I had no idea until like 4 years into their relationship,
Explain-
and that completely changes the guy.
Explain
I think
to
I've
the
said this
audience.
before, but
Yeah.
we've got some new fans. So my stepdad was born. I guess we've said it pretty much. Was born. Both his parents are deaf and completely deaf, and I think they were both deaf from birth. And they met at like
A conference.
Is that meant to be a joke?
No, it's not meant to be a joke, but I'm saying that's probably.
Because that's probably the one thing they can't go to, a conference.
Why not?
Because it's mostly about speaking, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about like a communal
I thought-
meeting.
yeah, yeah.
A meeting thing.
Or just like
I
a deaf
assume there wasn't
conference where no one
speakers.
can understand what's happening.
But that's probably how they got on.
That's
yeah.
probably how they got on.
Yeah.
No, just like a deaf community thing. So I think they met there. So he was born into that family. Never, couldn't learn speech from his family.
Yeah.
Never heard their voices kind of thing. It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. And he's an incredibly well-adjusted man.
A very well-adjusted man.
Yeah.
And that
He's a very normal man.
very normal man. But like, so him and Ollie, my stepbrother, could like fluent
Because
in
you
sign
think
language.
there'd be like, yeah, that's crazy that they're fluent sign.
Yeah,
no
because
idea.
when like she comes over and stuff, you have to, and I'm really bad at that.
What, sign language?
Yeah, I know the vowels A, E, I, O, U, so I have to speak purely in vowels.
What,
Hey! It's like when I see it, it's like hey! And then when she does something really bad, I'm like oh.
Oh.
And then when I'm offering her a drink, I point and go you.
That's
You?
good.
Yeah,
That's good, yeah.
yeah, that's what I've got. But yeah, no, it's a very odd thing to find out about someone when you've known them for 4 years because you think you should be doing something a lot more terrifying. And
Yeah, you should. Well, it's more like there's so many, like, you hear so much about developmental issues, about like that kind of early phase of growing up that, like,
growing up
you
in a
know-
silent house.
Yeah, like surely that means that you'll end up with loads of these hang-ups.
Yeah. He might. God,
It is strange.
And he's like one of the most well-adjusted men I know.
Incredibly
completely.
well-adjusted. As the same with me.
Well, you're very well-adjusted.
No, so we're both. That's how we got on. We're both like we're just too well-adjusted.
It is odd how much you two see each other and get on, isn't it?
Because we're both so well-adjusted.
You are, and you can see that far away. In a room.
these two.
That looks like a well-adjusted guy, and he's doing the same. And then you just naturally meet in the middle and talk about
But
sport.
I'm
and
sure.
politics.
I'm sure we talked about this because I do always discuss this whenever this is brought up. Is the Stevie Wonder paradox, which is, as far as it goes, Stevie Wonder is apparently, and I say apparently genuinely, apparently blind from birth.
Sure, as far as it goes.
Which seems unlikely,
Okay.
as far as
the eye can see.
I guess there's something. I'm always surprised he never sings
It's a
about
joy
being,
to watch you stumble over this.
I'm always surprised he never sings about being blind.
Yeah.
He's always singing love songs that are like kind of poppy hit songs.
Yeah.
And I
Hit song is a disservice to him, but
he dresses great.
yeah. Well, when you're that big, you'll have a stylist.
Yeah, I guess so.
He isn't just fumbling around in the dark wardrobe, seeing what happens. There are people when you're a massive megastar who will dress you.
I guess there's something just. I'm a huge fan of his music. I think he's brilliant.
You just wish you could see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do wish you could see.
Yeah. Well, me too. Yeah.
Part of me is like, I can understand if he had seen and then went blind, but the fact that he's never seen anything,
Right.
and then comes out with the music.
Can you arrive at your point?
My point is, I don't know how he's inspired enough, having
Yeah.
never seen a thing, to write music like that.
Well,
he
he
hasn't
doesn't-
seen anything.
Yeah, but
He's
well,
never seen a thing.
he has never seen a thing. But a lot of his.
He wrote "Living in the City," and it's like you haven't seen any.
But that's
you've
about.
literally
That
never
song's
seen.
about. That song's about growing up poor.
But he hasn't seen anything.
Yeah, but you
He genuinely doesn't even know what anything looks like.
You don't need to see growing up poor. It helps. But it's not everything.
What do you know about living in the city? You can't even see.
No, but that's a song about growing up poor.
But I'm
He
like,
said, like my
I'm
mother
like,
works for
so what's the
14
how's
hours.
the songs go?
You've never made some dollars. There's about to post for many, and you can bet
But I'll be like
living just enough for the city. He's talking about his mum working hard and getting.
That's all fine.
Money.
I would be. It'd be
That's
more
all fine.
believable if it was called living in the city blind. Do you know what I mean?
I think what you're trying to do him is pigeonhole him.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying that he's never even discussed it in a song. I don't think
It would, but yeah.
Do you know like superstition? Bum bum bum. Superstition. And then I want him to be. I'm also blind.
Very superstitious. Down, 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 down. And I'm also blind. You just wanted to chuck it in there.
I wanted to chuck it in there because I'm like, as soon as I found, because I didn't know, as soon as I found out he was blind, and then you hear all these songs, which he definitely doesn't give off any blind energy. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When in his songs,
but that's now I agree. I think as a songwriter who
he hasn't really delved into the most kind of.
Well, you think write about what you know, and in fairness, Stevie could have dedicated a couple of hits to being blind.
I want to hear about the experience of being a blind man.
But what can you do with it?
Like, well, it's more about him lamenting the melancholy of like,
But then if
I could because only see your face, something like that. That sounds like something he could be doing.
But then that kind of adds into
Isn't
the whole.
She lovely? Apparently.
But
she's apparently lovely.
My friends say she's beautiful. But no, listen, because this, and I think we're on risky territory again this episode.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, part of the reason maybe he hasn't, and I am speculating here, is that because he was blind from birth, there's not much to lament as much because that's been his existence infinitely. If he went blind and then he met the love of his life, you'd be more interested in what her face looks like.
Yeah.
But because you've never known sight, you can't lament for the lack of it.
Yeah. I guess so.
And then therefore you're kind of writing about you're not, if something has always been like that, you're not going to miss, you're not going to really miss it.
Yeah.
If all humans were blind, it'll be a nightmare, but we wouldn't be talking about, our songs wouldn't be about, because we wouldn't understand. We wouldn't understand. It would be a nightmare. But we wouldn't understand the concept of sight.
Yeah.
So you can't miss something you don't understand.
But he sings about it like he does.
What?
Sight.
How? Give me a lyric where he describes something in colour.
Isn't she lovely?
Yeah, well, come on.
Yeah, I guess.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I guess so.
And he's actually talking about his daughter there, not his love.
He doesn't
know if she's lovely.
No, that's okay. But yeah, no, I guess. I guess just a couple. I wouldn't mind some references to the blind experience.
I agree, and I think overall,
and I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan.
I think overall you are off the mark, but I agree that one or two hits dedicated to being blind would be nice,
or like a melancholic number, like in the album.
But no, I don't, and I think I understand why he doesn't, because you can't miss something that you've never had.
Okay, that's good. We can certainly end that on that.
I suppose we can, yeah.
But I went skiing this weekend.
You hit the slopes, did you?
Yeah, which I feel I didn't post about it on Instagram, and I thought about talking about it on stage, but I'm like, the thing is, in my experience, as soon as you bring out you've skied, people immediately don't like you. And there's an immediate setback.
Well, it depends how quickly you bring up skiing with people.
No, I don't think that is. I think the fact that one's been.
So you think with your oldest friends?
Not oldest friends.
No, there must be a time period where you've been friends with someone where they're going to still like you even though you went skiing.
Not don't like. I'm more saying in comedy.
Yeah.
Even though I've seen some comedians post that they ski and they kind of get away with it. They
still have a career.
No, they have a career, but they can get away with it. But I think it's because of. It's almost like, of course I ski. I don't know why why is this news to you guys? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
the name, the moustache.
Yeah, it's like, well, obviously.
Yeah.
What were you surprised that I ski? Yeah. Obviously. So don't be like, oh,
Yeah.
Obviously I ski.
It's their fault.
Yeah, but I'm saying anyone who's like, I'm surprised he skied. That's like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who definitely you assume skis, then says, I've skied. It's like you fucking.
You should have invested this far into the conversation and then be pissed off that he skis.
Exactly.
Because for the moment you start talking, you should be thinking he skis. He obviously skis, and therefore your lack of understanding that he skis is on you.
It's on me.
Not
What's
you.
the surprise thing? No,
It's on, if you were the guy. Yeah, no, there is no shock. There's no shock. Yeah. So yeah, if someone was to judge you for skiing, then they haven't judged you adequately in the inception of the conversation. Yeah.
You've skied. You skied.
I have skied. I skied before. Hilarious.
You skied before
I really
the
had a
divorce.
crash before. I've never had more. It's such a stark representation of my family's fall from like the middle class dream to not the middle class dream post divorce. We used to ski and then we stopped skiing. I haven't been skiing for fucking years.
Yeah, because skiing, but that's why it has
The last
to
time I
wait
went
to
skiing
people.
with my family was when I was 11 or 12, and
Yeah.
it was literally divorce. We didn't go skiing again.
But now you
'Cause
can
we couldn't
understand
afford it,
why
and-
there's emotions attached to it.
Oh, exactly.
You can understand where because
Yeah.
immediately it's like,
Yeah.
well, I can't ski anymore.
Yeah.
And that says something. Do you know what I mean? And if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can ski, that says something as
It
well.
says-
So
I'm even a bit annoyed that you went skiing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that it's a
But
very
that's much
very
like-
emotionally charged thing.
Much like in the opposite way of Stevie Wonder,
Nice.
I used to ski and now I lament the loss of skiing.
Yeah.
I think I feel a song coming on.
Yeah, but if
Why did my parents get divorced? We used to
To
hit the slopes. Yeah, no, I nearly died. I nearly died skiing. I told you this.
really,
Yeah.
how come? How?
We got on a chairlift, and it was a very tall one. Most
Yeah.
chairlifts are very tall, but there was a.
Yeah.
I got on it. I got on wrong
Ooh.
because I'm an idiot, and I slipped through the barrier thing. Slipped
Jesus.
through, and my dad literally caught me. My dad and my friend's dad caught me. And I was fucking dangling out of the chairlift with just those two hanging on to me. I had
What
nothing.
happened if you fall?
Probably, I
How
can't
far?
because
It was early in the chairlift.
it was
or did it go off?
fairly early, but it went up. No, but it went up quickly.
They stopped it.
Definitely 2 broken legs, at least. I may be deaf. I asked mum about it, and I
Yeah.
can't remember what she said because my mum was behind on the chairlift behind.
Yeah.
Fucking screaming at the guy to stop, but
Yeah.
he didn't stop it for a good 20 seconds because I
Yeah.
don't think he really realised what was happening.
Yeah.
Then they stopped it, and then we were high up, but they obviously had to pull that thing up.
Were you
And
just
then-
dangling the whole time?
I was just dangling. I had no control.
Your ski. That is terrifying.
It was terrifying, yeah.
Yeah.
But so literally, my dad did say,
I can imagine you'd be quite good at skiing.
yeah.
If you went when you're older. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. Yeah, no, slightly. I was never. Well, I've only been when I was 12.
Because my dad was super into skiing. My mum hates skiing. I'm not naturally good at skiing, but
I can imagine you being terrible.
I'm fine. I've
you'll
been.
be, yeah.
I'm actually all right. But BB's never been, and basically her dad loves skiing,
Yeah,
and I can already feel people being pissed off.
I'm getting more annoyed at you actually. I don't really know. I might distance myself from this. You're really saying a lot of bad shit this episode, aren't you?
But so BB's dad always goes skiing, but then assumed that BB was not interested at all. And basically, I was at dinner with her dad, and he said, "We're going skiing." I was like, "Take BB."
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like teachers, and BB hadn't even considered it. I'm like, if someone offers you to go skiing, boomers love skiing. So if you can try and find like a wealthy boomer to be a dad or a friend's dad, shack up with, then jump on any opportunity to go skiing.
You'll have to go a couple of blowies in a chalet. But
Sure. So she'd
But
never been
that's the price
skiing
you pay for
before.
the slopes.
So we went with her family, and obviously they're all learning to ski. And this is more me trying to lay the groundwork so that she can learn to ski, so she at least has that. So it's an
it's
option.
like girlfriend training.
It is. So it was like, it's going to be a dud holiday for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's more about you just seeing if you can hack
And
it.
you went skiing over International Women's Day as well. It's like it's you're saying you've got to have a certain amount of requisite skills in order to, if this is going to go the distance.
Yeah. And
What other things would that include? Skiing.
that's it.
That's it. That's the works. Yeah.
So I went skiing with her dad, who's 69, loves skiing. We were the only people who could ski, apart from the older brother who's looking after his daughter, like a 1-year-old. So it was just me and her dad. I haven't spent that much time with him.
I was going to say because
So it's
I
an
know the
intimate
dinner
thing.
you're talking about that you
Yeah.
went to, and it was
That's
that
like
you
the
hadn't met him. Yeah, I think the only other time you met him was when he fondled your testicles.
He didn't fondle my testicles. He examined my penis medically. He's a doctor.
We all know he was a bit handsy.
He was handsy, but I didn't stop him. You know, it's on me. And you should have
Well,
seen
you
what
can't
you
when-
should have seen what I was wearing as well.
What was it? Go on then.
I was
Go on then, big man.
I was wearing leather chaps.
Oh, great.
I was wearing arseless chaps.
Even though he was examining your cock.
Yeah, but it was there was an implicit.
So did he have to go?
It was implicit. I came in with arseless
yeah,
chaps.
Okay, yeah. Did he have to then examine you like round the chaps? Because I was thinking
that's the only way in.
It's the only way in.
Otherwise, you have to. The only way to get into the trousers is you have to put your feet through the chaps.
The feet through?
That's how you have to pull them in through the chaps.
Is that how you actually get in the chaps?
No, I don't know.
Okay, no, because they still work as trousers. They still work as normal fucking trousers. There's just the arse is cut out. You don't have to get me. I can't believe I believed that for a second. But you could have gone in with arseless and crotchless chaps because then it'd be like, because you could like play awkward, like you don't want to get naked in front of him. So this is the least amount of skin you can show.
Yeah.
The leather being just fun optional material.
And anyway, so it's an intimate thing to go on the slopes with, but it was good. We were getting on fine. It was great.
It's actually it's probably the least intimate thing you can do with the father of a girlfriend because like you're so distant when you're going down the slopes.
Yeah, I guess so.
And you can have a very clear like when you stop and I'll meet you down there, and then it's like which one should we go on next? You're very much in your own world. Yeah. Whereas going around Turkey with him, going around the bazaars in Turkey.
That's more intimate.
Yeah,
because I guess it's like
swimming.
It's especially for men. I think skiing, it really cuts out any sort of any of the masculine awkwardness. It's gone.
Yeah.
You're skiing.
Think it's the perfect.
It's
thing.
probably the perfect because you're sliding down the slope because conversation.
And you're both being men.
You're just both being men.
Both being dudes.
Also, like if the conversation dries up, do you want to just pop down and say,
yeah, let's absolutely do that. Yeah, and it's perfect. The only thing is maybe the chairlifts.
Chairlifts, intimate.
That is, and it's a long, quiet
It's a long, quiet conversation.
The only thing,
but also, silence is permitted because you're in the mountains.
Absolutely,
and there's never
experience.
There's no silence like there is in the mountains.
Correct.
So
it's a peaceful moment.
It's a silence that you can actually listen to,
it's like
and it's not an awkward silence because it's so silent.
It's a shared meditation in some ways. The only other thing that would be similar to that is scuba diving.
Yes. What scuba diving? That's probably
an activity to do with a father-in-law.
I think that would be the best.
Yeah. Because it's both about just you're in your ass, you're doing your own thing.
You're hanging out, but you literally can't
and it's literally because like on the slope, when you're skiing down, you can just kind of give them a wave. And under the water, it's just one of those.
That's all you can do.
That's it.
That really, okay. That's probably the perfect.
But like, thumbs up. This is good, isn't it?
You can't
without having to talk.
Do you think you could ever? Do you think someone who's really awkward could make it? Do you think you could ever have an awkward moment? Not. I don't mean awkward as in getting your thing tangled up. But I mean socially.
Yeah, you go for a joke, being like pretend to fuck a fish. That's how you lose faith. The father-in-law loses faith in you. You tried. You're just like, oi, what's this? And then he's like,
and then he doesn't. Then that'd be bad. If you felt like
you just see him shake his head.
If you felt socially, if you were scuba diving and you felt socially awkward, you've really fucked
it.
But anyway,
the only way to do it is if you go for a big joke and it doesn't land. Just getting his attention, waving in the water, just blowing bubbles. Look over here. And you're laughing, you can see the bubbles coming out from you laughing, and then there's just no bubbles coming from his thing, and then you just see him shake his head at you and then swim off. Anyway,
but so it was the first day, everything had gone perfectly. They'd actually chosen the ski resort based on the fact that it's actually the easiest ski resort to get from the UK. It's in this part of Austria. It's the easiest one because you fly in and it's 20-minute drive from the airport. A lot of them are like 3-hour coach drive. So it was just a dream from start to finish. And it was just going really well. And then it was just me up and him up on the slope. So we're going down.
So where are the others?
They're all learning.
Yeah.
They're all just on like a baby slope learning. And we've already done a morning of skiing. It's gone great.
Do you have lunch with him then?
We'd had lunch all together.
Yeah.
Headed back out, just me and him, to a more difficult slope. And he's much better skier than I am.
Yeah.
And then he slipped, which was really weird because he seems very in control. And I said, "Are you good?" He said, "Fine." Gets up again. Then he skis down a bit further, and then I see him slip again. I ski down. And I go, "You all right?" And he's got like sort of saliva sort of appeared around his mouth. And he goes, just very calmly, he goes, "I've broken my hip." Because he's obviously a top doctor. And he knew instantly. And he's a very quite stiff upper lip kind of guy, well, a stoic man. So it's the calmest I've ever seen. And he obviously knows immediately when he's broken his hip.
Yeah.
So he slipped and his ski got caught under. And it's because of his bones. He's 69. And he just goes...
knowing instantly when you've broken something is like what's the thing of something in a curse? A blessing and a
blessing
curse.
and a curse.
Because it's good to diagnose yourself, but it's like, I don't really want to know that.
Yeah, I wish there was some
just
hope.
Like the hope for a second. Like you hear a crack, like, oh, that.
And it wasn't. I think I broke my. He's like, I've broken my hip, and because he was so calm.
Yeah.
We're right by a chairlift. I was going to ask the chairlift guy for the ambulance. I kind of. He possessed that calmness onto me.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, cool. I'll go get the ambulance. And I walked down. And I was like, hi mate. My girlfriend's dad broken his hip. And then I was walking. I was like, oh shit, I should have been more. But he was just so calm about it. Yeah. And then I'll actually post the video and I'll put it here. I've got extraordinary footage of we had the ambulance come and then the helicopter landed on the thing. And after about 3 minutes, he was like, I haven't broken my hip, I've broken my femur, which is the long bone down here.
One of the worst bones you can break.
Yes. And the fact that after like 2 minutes, he was like, yeah, not hip, it's actually femur. And I just realised he's realised.
Can you imagine if he's been airlifted up? just like, no, it's the femur.
And so then they came down and they were all jovial and joking, and he didn't let out a whimper.
Yeah.
They gave him morphine on the slopes. We all lifted him up onto the thing.
Morphine on the slopes sounds like a good holiday.
It does, morphine on the slopes. And then they put him into the helicopter, and the helicopter just lifted up and went away. And then that silence of the mountain, and I was like, this is one of those surreal moments of my life. That like the day before I was in the UK, and now I'm on a mountain in Austria watching my girlfriend's dad. Just
you don't know that well.
Oh, I don't know that well. And I'm like, this is fucking mental. So he's still out there.
Because we've had one of our friends was in a terrible skiing accident recently.
Dangerous, man.
It's been a bit of a fucking clusterfuck recently. I mean, she was out there for like 3 more weeks.
I mean, hers was much
worse.
Hers
was a lot worse, yeah.
Much worse than his.
His just
he will never ski again.
Do you think?
Yeah. And it was weird being...
Well, that's almost the worst injury, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's partly a sign he shouldn't have been skiing because he's too old.
He is 69.
Yeah, and
fair play to
to
do that. But so he fell. So you said he fell twice. Do you think he broke it on the first one?
No. I think it just seemed like maybe his confidence went after the first one, and then
his hip just broke, and his femur just gave in. Due to a lack of confidence.
And then the second fall. It literally, he fell on the ski. I was with Bibi for her first ski and with the dad for the last, which was a very circular thing.
Did it make you feel powerful?
It did make me feel powerful. It made me feel stronger than ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it was a bit strange after that in some ways, but it was also apart from that, it was great. But
so you then had to inform Bibi and the brothers that it had happened. How did that go?
Well, I waited as long as possible, and I should have actually waited longer because I know they're trying to learn. As soon as I've told them that,
they'll forget everything.
They fucked the lesson. And I told them 20 minutes before the end, and apparently the last 20 minutes they crashed. All of them crashed all the time because they'd all just lost their head. And I was like, I should have really waited till the end of the lesson.
I guess it's not actually that important because you're
not going to
rush to the hospital. Did you not go to the hospital? Did you?
COVID. So there was a couple of people went.
Oh yeah, because Ali had that. He managed to barge his way in a couple of times just because of how bad it was.
But also, that's him with his girlfriend, the dad. He's definitely someone who didn't need. He wasn't like
fine, I'll sort it out.
But yeah, it was funny being out there again because skiing is just. It is the whitest thing in the world
because of all the snow.
Partly that, but it's not the fact that everyone there is white. That's not actually the reason why it's so white. Because there's quite a lot of things where there's just white people out.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it deep. It's deeper than that. There's something so deeply white about skiing because I think it's in the sense that the way that look in the Alps, white people have seen a mountain. So in the Himalayas, Nepalese locals see the mountain as an expression of Mother Nature, a sort of a mountain god to be feared and respected.
To admire and fear.
That's how their culture would respond to their mountains. White people see a mountain and goes, let's build a pub at the top, and I bet I could slide down that bitch quicker than you. That's genuinely, there's something, the fact that we're all there, they've built pubs on it, and it's like these huge, sublime, gorgeous mountains that the Alps, huge range, and there's everywhere, there's just pubs, chairlifts, everything has to be conquered.
I was about to say,
everything.
It's about conquering the mountain.
All these slopes has to be like luxury.
Almost defiling the mountain for our physical
pleasure. I went to the top of one of the mountains, and I'm up there. There's obviously a white dude up there, just one guy. who's got the parachute thing.
Yeah.
Emotionless on his face. He just threw the parachute off and then jumps off and just flies down.
Yeah.
It's like we're not meant to be doing this sort of stuff. There's something.
Yeah.
I watched this documentary called Everest, which is very good. It's on Netflix about tensions between Sherpas. And it's called Sherpa. Between the tensions between Sherpas who cart all the stuff up Everest and the sort of Europeans.
Yeah.
And the kind of main point of the thing was how different the approach to climbing Everest is, where the locals who live around it, they're all Sherpas because it makes them so much more money.
Yeah.
But it's culturally, the idea of standing on top of Everest is sort of defining it. It's like trying
blasphemy.
But then for the European mindset, it's about mountain to conquer. And the idea of Everest in the West,
well, in a sense,
it's like, what's the most impressive thing you can do?
Yeah.
Climb Everest.
It's almost like a material possession.
100%. And that's why Westerners pay so much money.
Yeah.
And then now there's like luxury experiences going up there.
Yeah.
And like Sherpas who do it like every year. They go up and down. And they're like making teas and coffees for everyone. They have all this thing, so they take care of it. So you can have this experience of sort of...
You can really see the difference in the traditional East and Western mindset.
It completely. And then I just realised that skiing is the epitome of that. The whole culture of it.
It's almost a disregard for the sanctity of the mountain.
It's true. And also the part of the reason that I feel like there's so few black skiers as well, I feel if
You're going to say something else offensive?
No, it's not really offensive.
Let's go for 4.
But it's the same with why culturally black people aren't as into extreme sports.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at any Red Bull extreme sports, past the maybe socioeconomic...
You're referring to the soapbox race?
I'm talking about soapbox race.
Yeah.
If you have enough problems happening in your life,
you don't have time to make a soapbox.
You don't. Not only that, but you don't look on a holiday to try and instill the fear of death in you.
Oh yeah,
to sort of simulate death.
To perhaps relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe even take stock.
You know, if you're living in a Western country,
a
racist Western country, the idea of like trying to make you feel what death might feel like.
It becomes a punishment for all the things that you do bad, all the things that you know are internalised into our culture, our race and our society on a daily basis. And then, because we shouldn't be living in as much luxury as we are.
Yeah.
So in holiday, go and jump off a mountain, go and risk your lives on the slope to feel something.
Yeah, it's more...
It's self-flagellation.
Privileged white people don't feel that rush of death,
but then
so they all they look for is things to kind of simulate that
with a pub at lunch.
Because
you can't do it that much. And
that's what I was thinking when I saw BB's dad being helicoptered off the mountain. It's like we shouldn't be doing this. This is fucking mental.
I guess
this
it really
absolutely mental.
Yeah, I've never seen a serious, as in, well, I've seen people being airlifted, but like I've never been part of a serious skiing incident. And I guess it really because it's almost so silly.
It's like fucking
wow, this is good. And all it takes is just a splash, and then it's like, this is probably a bad idea.
What the fuck are we all doing here?
I think everyone knows it's a bad idea, but
it's like, not until someone...
It's
pure magic until someone... But I guess that's part of it, is the slight fear of death is what makes it so thrilling.
So thrilling, yeah. It's a very slight fear of death. Do you listen to music?
I have started to now.
Oh my God, changes.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I went, because the only time I've been post-divorce was with Izzy, with her family. And she's a big headphone. Of course, she is a big headphone when she's skiing. And I hadn't done it because I hadn't been since I was 12. And my God, does it change?
It's just unbelievable.
It's just any song, because it could be a melancholic song, and you're going down and taking in the gorgeous views, and it's like a pensive ski, or it can be like a happy song, and you're going down and you're just loving life, or it can be a fucking banging hard techno song, and you think you're the best skier that's ever existed.
Yeah, I in the same way, I feel if you're on heavy psychedelic drugs. Listening to any song.
Now that would be taking the piss out.
No, I don't mean.
Should we do mushrooms?
I wasn't saying.
And then go and break our femurs.
I wasn't saying collective. I'm saying when you live on heavy psychedelic drugs and then you listen to the songs you listen to loads, you have a different reading of it.
When you're going down
the slopes, you have a completely different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes.
I need a wee quickly.
I think we're going to end the episode here anyway. Okay. So if you guys want to carry on listening to this, we're going to do a quick Patreon episode now.
I have an amusing story about someone urinating in a Wetherspoons.
So I'll see you then. Thanks for listening, guys.